Chair Brenner, Ranking Member Ingram, and members of the Senate Education Committee, thank you for the opportunity to deliver sponsor testimony today on Senate Bill 11, the Parent Educational Freedom Act. The Parent Educational Freedom Act is a bill that would expand the current EdChoice scholarship to give universal eligibility to all students in the state of Ohio and would expand the homeschool tax credit from $250 to $2,000. With the success of EdChoice expansion, and the Cleveland scholarship programs in recent years, there has been a rising desire for programs like these to be broader and accessible to a higher number of students and families. Parents know the needs of their children more than the state does, and the Parent Educational Freedom Act would capitalize on this rising desire to give parents the choice to send their children to the schools they feel would be the best fit. As written, this bill will provide $5,500 for students in grades K through 8 and $7,500 for students in grades 9 through 12. The money may be used at any public, community, or chartered non-public school. This is exactly the same benefit that is currently available in the EdChoice and EdChoice Expanded scholarship program. The $2,000 homeschool tax credit, similar to how it is currently written in the revised code, may be used for educational expenses such as books, supplies, software, subscriptions, and other materials that are used directly for home instruction. The Parent Educational Freedom Act would not be applicable for non-charter, non-public schools and would not replace the current Autism Scholarship or the John Peterson Special Needs programs. Ohio should act now to put parents, not government, in control of their children's education. Throughout my personal life, I have held countless titles, but the most important title I hold is that of parent. Parents are the ultimate authority on all matters concerning their children, and they want options. If parents want their children educated in public schools, my bill protects their right to do so. We have some great public schools in Ohio. As a former public school teacher, I realize that public schools employ some of our best teachers, and they can compete with any institution. Ohio is fortunate to have many fine teachers and many public schools that work for students, but the one-size-fits-all approach to education simply does not work. Every parent has the right to choose a school that best meets their students' needs. This is a right afforded to most affluent Ohioans currently, but property wealth and schooling should not be linked. High-quality schools are often located in expensive neighborhoods. All families, regardless of income, should have the power to choose schools for their children that wealthy families have. Contrary to claims that school choice results in less funding, Ohio data shows that per pupil funding actually increased from 2000 and 2019 in districts where charter and private schools were most prevalent. 25 different studies have shown that competition leads to better outcomes for public schools. Competition makes everyone better. And now more than ever, parents are raising their voices for more options, more choices, and more freedom. Our goal is to have our students get an excellent education, even if it means attending a different school. Let's put free markets to work to provide the best quality product and service in the most cost-effective way. The school choice movement is gaining momentum, and learning options are gaining support. School choice was an important issue in the campaigns for public office over the last year. After playing a huge role in the 2021 Virginia governor's race, school choice has bipartisan support. Governors Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania and J.B. Pritzker of Illinois, both Democrats, supported school choice. National polls in June showed that voters everywhere supported school choice. Again, school choice has momentum, and it is bipartisan. Ohio should act now and empower our families to make the best educational choices. We need to listen to our parents who want a voice in their children's education. We need to allow them to spend their hard-earned tax dollars on the school of their choice. My bill puts educational options within the reach of every parent in Ohio. It empowers our parents, is fairer to tax-paying parents, encourages healthy competition, and makes Ohio an even better state to raise a family. I urge support of this bill so every parent has the resources to make informed decisions about their child's educational future. Thank you again, Chair Brenner, for allowing me to give sponsored testimony on Senate Bill 11, and I welcome any questions from the committee.
Thank you, Vice Chair O'Brien, for your testimony today. Are there any questions from committee members? Ranking Member Ingram.
It sounds like you're tired of saying that. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. 23-24, this coming school year, is that the intent?
Through the chair to Ranking Member Ingram, yes, it is.
And have we costed that out, and where is it in the budget? Or do we plan to put it in the budget?
To the ranking member, there will be a fiscal analysis done. It's typically done later in the process, but one could be asked for. We could get that to the members of the committee sooner.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Any other questions from committee members? Senator Blessing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Not so much a question, but a comment. You know, increasing eligibility like this, it kind of makes me think back to the transportation budget a few years ago, as well as, you know, what's been going on at the federal level with now that we have inflation, because a bunch of money has just been dumped into the system. And then, of course, we had massive inflation because of that. The reason I bring up the transportation budget, when we were increasing the gas tax, there was the thought, well, if you do all this all at once, there'll be massive construction inflation. The comment that I would have, you know, doing all this all at once, there's the potential now that you have this sudden influx of students into this system that wouldn't have otherwise been eligible, that it would greatly increase the cost of private education. So just something to keep in mind, and I'll leave it at that. But thank you for your testimony.
You care to respond to that?
I do. Thanks,
Okay,
Chairman Brenner. and Senator Blessing. The take-up rates for similar programs show that they are never close to 100%. So a reasonable expectation would be 50% of eligible students will take up the cost, and 50% would be $500 million, and that's a 4.9 increase in our state budget. Now, any of the costs for scholarships for newly eligible public transfer students is more than offset by a decrease in the state foundation aid, leading to a savings for the general revenue fund. And let's not forget that the voucher amounts add up to far less than the overall taxpayer support required to educate a student who attends a district school. The taxpayers actually will pay less there. So I can go on and on about actual funding and the dollars that we currently spend. Ohio Public Schools receive approximately $26 billion per year from local, state, and federal revenues. Public school per pupil spending in Ohio has increased every year since 2013. We have spent $12 billion on school facilities. The collective cash reserves, the money left over at the end of one fiscal year going into the next, has doubled in the last 10 years while we've tripled the EdChoice scholarships. Ohio has received more than $7 billion in federal money from the 2021 Biden stimulus. And over the last 24 years, state funding has increased from $8.3 billion to $10.5 billion. State spending on K through 12 education was increased about 25% in our last general revenue budget. It now totals just under $11 billion and comprises just a little over 42% of our state budget. Okay, we're good to go. Okay.
I appreciate that.
I think you answered his question, so thank you.
No, I just had a comment in there, but I understand what you're saying, but, also remember that, those students that leave, to take that scholarship, that, a lot of these actually all the school districts would, well, depending on how much they lost, I mean, they're going to be on the guarantee, so I don't know if it would be dollar to dollar. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay.
I do, yes.
All right, thank you.
Maybe
Sure.
we should take them off the guarantee. Are any other comments or questions from the committee? Seeing none, this will conclude the first hearing on Senate Bill 11. Thank you, Senator O'Brien,
Thank
for
you,
your
Chair
testimony
Brennan.
today.